Sabrina, and here I have my friend Alex, and we are here to discuss the ins and outs of the Loom Circle Mandala experience. So I'm kind of going to start with just the basics, and then Alex will come in when he feels he gets to. Like that. So if you look at the structure of the loom, you'll notice that you have 8 spaces on the outside, 4 in the center of that, 2 more, and then 1 in the very middle. So the way this works is when you initially get invited in, you will fill one of those outside spaces, one of the 8. And what will happen, what you'll notice is that as soon as the outer 8 ring is full, the circle will then shift. So what will happen is it'll actually split in half. What I found to be the easiest way for that to happen is for the top portion to become its own separate loom and the bottom portion to become its own separate loom as well. And the 2 people who are right next to the center are going to then be the center of those 2 looms, while the person in the center has then received the $800 gift. And that is really how the evolution of the loom works. Is there anything that you kind of want to throw in there? Did I cover it? Did I get it?
Yeah, very well. I like referring to it as outer, middle, inner, center.
That makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah. That was really beautiful and so simple. So could you describe what do I want to ask? Sabrina, could you describe a good way to communicate daily on this to keep it churning and to have clear communication with everybody in a particular loom?
For sure. I think that that's become kind of a bit confusing especially for people who enter in and don't have experience with it or don't really know how it's working. They get in, they're like, okay, what's happening here? What do I do? And then even throughout the process, people are like, okay, so when I get to the center, what do I do? So I think being on the outer edge, like when you first come into Loom, is a really great place to be so that you have time to kind of see the unfolding of the experience and what you can expect.
Yeah.
When you first come in, I feel like it's really definitely about learning. Reaching out to the people in the loom, getting to know the people that are in there. It's a really great opportunity to just use the platform to connect, honestly. Also, one thing that you should be provided when you enter is just resources. So the person who's at the center of the loom is typically the one who's then leading that loom. So being a resource, since you've kind of been through the different parts of the loom, you've kind of experienced the different levels. And by the time you get to the middle, you should have a little bit more awareness of how it all works. So yeah, just really, I feel like anybody though in it can provide those resources and just be a resource. So it's a really great time to, exchange those things, exchange, ways to share this with friends and family, explanations of how it works, how the structure works, which is where these videos come in to just kind of like assist with creating a bit more clarity. And then, yeah, the person at the center is the person who updates the loom as the 8 come in. So, they'll make updates as that happens and then shoot that off to the rest of everybody in the loom. Hey, this is where we're at. This is who's in the loom. This is who's joined us. Welcome them. Let's get to know each other. And so the process kind of continues and unfolds.
Something I like to do is with people who just join, I like to have everybody do just a welcome message. Thanks for joining. We're happy to have you here. What's your, where are you from? Where are you based out of? What do you do? Any services you offer? Because Sabrina, you mentioned this is also a platform to connect and exchange.
Mm-hmm.
So what services do you have? And then people can connect on that level. And then I like to do a fun fact, favorite food, just something so we get a little bit of your personality right off the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
As well as updating the loom. A really easy way is in your Loom, if you do not already have a blank picture of the Loom, request one and someone will get it for you.
Mhm.
When you have that saved on your phone, you can go into the little paperclip button next to the send icon, click it, go to that image, and then in the Loom app itself, you can alter that image and put the text in.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I was shared, and it had to be through Instagram.
Yeah, that's all I've, different editing tools. It's a learning curve in and of itself.
So it helped me get more familiar with Instagram because I haven't put a lot of stock in there, but I'm excited to utilize it more because picture sharing, it shares thousands of words with one image. But
sure.
to have that in the Telegram app itself is very key. So it's all local.
Mm.
And that brings me to the next point. When someone invites you, get the Venmo of the person in the center, send them a Venmo with, a personalized message or something just saying, I'm ready to do this. I don't encourage joining if your heart's not in it. Because this process is about tuning into inside. And if you're ready to up-level your prosperity and abundance therein, you're here for a reason. And if it's, wishy-washy, if you want to give it a try, go. But, for me, it's important to follow my heart. So, put a message in with Venmo and then download the Telegram app. Google Play, App Store, and it's like a little paper airplane. Takes me right back to elementary school.
Right.
Did you make kick-ass paper airplanes?
That was fun.
I love those things so much. So yeah, super easy icon, download it, enter your information, and then that way you can be added to the group chat.
Yeah, I like that you're bringing this up because I think it's a bit confusing of who does what in this process. So if you're invited, the person who invites you is typically the one to give you this information, to tell you, hey, download the Telegram app. Hey, here's the Venmo of the person that you're going to be sending your gift to. And that's the person that's currently at the center of the circle.
Right.
And then you can go ahead and do that. And once you've added the app, we can go ahead and find you by your phone number and add you to that group. So you're a part of, the collective for that Loom.
Sabrina, I'm curious if you notice what I've noticed. Generally with Loom, there's a lot more invitation and utilization during the morning and early afternoon hours, the fire energy of the day.
For sure.
So I recommend, having kind of a ritual or a starting practice of how am I going to share abundance in this community? How am I going to invite people and utilize the energy of the day, the energy of the sun? Last night, I saw something really interesting where we had like 4 people join like at 8 to 9 p.m. Which was...
Yeah, there's something that starts back up late at night, it seems like, too.
Yeah. So that brings me to the next point is the person in the center, Sabrina mentioned, is driving the ship. They're piloting. So as the pilot, to steer in the direction of what you want to see, do you want to share empowering messages, a visualization exercise? Do you want to do and offer breath work for the community? Do you want to, encourage being vulnerable, sharing what you're going through, blocks, hard conversations around money that this is bringing up? So as you're piloting the ship, remembering that the more you input as the individual in the center, and everybody co-creating, the more you input, the more fuel this Loom has. It starts to get stagnant when people just expect, there's a key word, other people to do it for them.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
So something that's been coming to me as an added addition is if you really resonate with people in your Loom, and as it starts to branch out, to do weekly video calls, see who's interested in that type of stuff. And it can be centered around Loom, but it could also be centered around, just a safe container to share and to connect more community during this time we're in. So that's something that's been on my mind, and a share that's coming forth is to do video calls, weekly or bi-weekly with these individuals, and maybe only do one or two, or maybe it starts a ongoing relationship with a new friend.
Yeah, there's plenty of opportunity to connect with different people from different places, and I think that's really one of the cool things about it. Like, you're able to connect with people that you wouldn't typically connect with, and yeah, in mine, we typically will exchange our information for Facebook or Instagram to stay connected.
Yeah.
Sort of a thing, and it's pretty awesome to use that as a tool as well.
So as we conclude here with this video, I want to open up the dialogue for do's and don'ts. I'd like to hear your particulars of when you're in the center, what do you want to see go in, and what don't you want to see?
Into the Loom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, into your group.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna start with don'ts.
Yeah, good.
It's so interesting because for me it's really about flow and trust. So I don't have a lot of don'ts. My only don't is don't expect to come in and do nothing and receive something from this. Because it's energy is what moves things, and so for things to shift and move, there has to be some sort of energy from you as well. So yeah, I mean, other than that, I feel like the do's are just come in open-minded, open-hearted, be present with it, allow it to flow and trust it. I think I've witnessed a lot of individuals get kind of freaked out, oh my gosh, it's not moving, oh my gosh, it isn't happening, oh my gosh. And sometimes it does feel that way, and it does slow down, and then it picks back up. But I really feel like that's because there's some things that need to be cleared to create, more momentum. So just trust it. Just, if this is something that resonates with you and aligns with you, and you're open to doing something like this, then just go in with an open mind and trust it, and be with the process, and just be present with what is happening in that process. Mm-hmm. Rather than trying to get it anywhere. Just be with it.
Yeah, I think you bring up a very important aspect of femininity and developing a relationship with the goddess, with the feminine aspect, whether it be with the beautiful woman or inside, or however, because you try to force something, it's gonna push away from you.
For sure.
It doesn't like to be forced. So to nourish and to give space, and to put in energy of how you'd like to treat the goddess, how you'd like to treat the feminine, and she watches, she pays attention, and this yin, this concave, that's a cave, there we go, drawing with my hands, this concave aspect, notices what you're putting in, and then it cycles back and comes to you. So instead of expectation and forcing, give to what you'd wish to receive.
For sure. Yeah, it's very, I guess, yeah, if you put it that way, it is kind of more of a feminine energy. There's not force involved. It's very much a trust and a softness and just flow. Mm-hmm.
So my do's and don'ts would be, don't join in if you're moving from fear. If you're moving from a space of what Sabrina said earlier, I don't want to do anything, or I'm expecting other people to carry, don't do it. Don't join in and then 2 or 3 days later ask for your money back. I'm gonna put in a disclaimer in future Looms I'm in to prevent that. I've seen some people join in, and then either within 15 minutes or an hour, or within 24, they're saying, it's not for me, can I have my money back? And I honor that, and I say, absolutely yes. But this is an investment, and if you're gonna invest something, does it show that you're really in integrity with your money if you immediately pull out? Or does it show you like you were moving from confusion and hesitation? So in future looms for me, I'm going to post a kind of a container, a boundary that says if you join and it's, you know, you're feeling it's not for you within the first 24 hours, you're good to back out. But after that, stick through to strengthen the container. Don'ts would also be no hate, no aggression, no ugly and derogatory behavior or language. Do honor where people are at and move in a space. Again, golden rule, how do you want to be treated? Another do would be if you're scared and you really believe in it, but you're like, I'm not seeing it move. I'm scared that this investment was a waste. Post that. Be vulnerable. That courage helps to clear and heal the wounds and the binding around money. I would also say, you know, do post a picture on your little avatar so people get, you know, a look of you. There's one other thing I'm forgetting. You know, do check in with people who you're not seeing a lot of action from. Hey, how's everything going? Is it all right? Because this is team. You know, teamwork makes the dream work. And to see people get left behind or left out isn't how I want to run things. Anything come up for you while I was saying that?
The only thing was, you know, you made the comment, like, don't to like negative or derogatory, aggressive behavior. And thankfully I haven't seen any of that. So that's awesome. You know?
So, do have empowering conversations around people, with people around money. And so if someone brings up, oh, isn't that a Ponzi scheme? Isn't that a scam? It sounds like a waste. Approach that with a sovereign strength and a sovereign, I don't agree with that. I don't believe it. Do you want to open a dialogue? And if the person doesn't, if the person does, and Sabrina mentioned trust. So move through, and I'm seeing so many wounds around money being healed and how people are getting more confidence therein. So it's very special, and I'm having a wonderful experience. And any final thoughts, Sabrina?
I think we got it.
My goodness gracious, we got it.
My goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
So
my goodness.
with that, take care and enjoy.
Yes, thanks.